All right, so I want to welcome you today to the Accidental Artist, and I want to welcome Darlene. She is a mixed media artist out of Santa Fe, and I'm so glad she's here. And so, Darlene, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
My full name is Darlene Olivia McElroy. I do narrative mixed media art, and I also write art techniques books. I have currently 4 books out with Northlight, and my 5th one will be out in January 2016.
Oh, wow. So how long have you been writing books?
It's not that, it's like being the teacher and the student at the same time. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so how did you become an artist, Darlene?
You know, I remember being 3 years old and drawing on my bedroom walls, and my mother had no problem with it. So it was encouraged in my family.
Really? Were they artists, or was it just...
My grandfather was an artist.
Okay. What kind of art did he do?
He did primitive palette knife art. He lived on Catalina Island.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Yeah, so 3 years old. So you just drew on your family's wall, and they were okay with it?
Yeah, everyone was fine with it. And I've always been called the artist in the family, you know. So that was kind of cool to always have that name recognition, you know, as to what I did.
Yeah, that's hilarious. My daughter, when she was 3, she drew a picture of her daddy on our wall. And I remember walking in, and I was like, at first I was like, what did you do? And then I looked at it, and it was the best one she had ever done. Like, I mean, it had like his little goatee that he had, had. And I was like, this isn't okay, but I am so proud of you. That's funny. So what is your favorite thing to do as far as artwork? Like, what do you enjoy the most? And can you talk a little bit about maybe a project you're working on?
I do. Well, because it's mixed media, I get to do a lot of collage and a little bit of everything, which is what I like. If I had to just do one thing like watercolors, I probably would go nuts. Because I like the puzzle part of creating art. And in fact, I have what I call the crap shack in my backyard, and it is full of odds and ends for mixed media. And I have to clean it out once or twice a year because I forget what I have in it.
What is it? Is it stuff that you find and you just kind of gather?
Pardon?
Is it things that you find over the years and you kind of gather, or how do you come up with that?
Yes, it's a lot of things I find at flea markets or garage sales. Plus, people leave stuff at my door or email me things, or not email me, send me boxes of goodies when they're cleaning out. So it's kind of cool. It's like surprise packages all the time.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure whatever you're getting at that moment can inspire a whole new project.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes just getting that package and seeing one thing is enough to do a whole piece of art.
That is so cool. So who would you say inspires you? And it doesn't have to be an artist. I mean, it can be anybody.
Well, actually, I think probably Rauschenberg, because I do a lot of image transfers, and he was one of the first people that really pushed that. And actually, I love abstract artists, which is so far removed from what I do. But all my pieces start as an abstract before they go to finish.
Okay, so because you do a lot of artwork with women, don't you? Like with women inside your artwork?
I think there's a piece, and it seems to me women have more stories than men. You know, men are kind of like right there. Women are more complex, and so it's a little more interesting for me. But I love the figure, and I have started doing a cowboy series, so I do have more men in my art now.
Yeah, I guess they have a little bit of a story to tell too. So basically collage and kind of assemblage is your favorite, you would say?
It's a combination of painting, collage, image transfers. I do a lot of things like deconstructed stencils. So it's everything.
So when you got out of school, was this kind of, did you immediately become an artist full time, or did you kind of take a different route?
When I got out of school, I became an illustrator, which is the closest thing I could find to making money. So I did a lot of work for Disney.
Really?
So it was kind of cool. I had a good time.
Oh my gosh, I've always thought in another life I'll work for Disney.
Actually, no, you do not want to
No?
work for Disney. It still was interesting, though.
So do you have maybe a favorite movie or favorite book or a favorite quote that you want to share with our listeners?
I loved, oh God, now I can't remember it. Thank you so much, Heidi.
You're on the spot.
Moulin Rouge. And I love Moulin Rouge because of the colors and the story, and I love the elephant. What can I say? I want a house just like the elephant.
That's awesome.
I've traveled a lot, and I love the countries that had the most color, like Morocco, India, Indonesia. You know, so there was a lot of color and texture, which is really what I have a lot of in my art. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing. It's like a life movie rather than a movie.
So when you travel like that, do you kind of just show up in one place and then book your flight for the next, or do you have it all pre-planned?
No, well, no, it's not really pre-planned. It's how the moment hits. I went to Greece thinking it was only going to be for 2 weeks. I ended up spending 3 months there. So I don't even book a hotel the first night. Because sometimes in some of these countries, someone approaches you and they have a room for rent. So I like that haphazard part of it a lot.
Really? Oh my gosh. That's so cool. So I know you've written, your books. Can you speak about kind of the art process and kind of how you talked about being a teacher and a student at the same time. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, when I write the books, I usually have just kind of the concept. Like this last book is on clay techniques without a kiln, so using plastics and paper clay, etc. Mm-hmm. But I have to learn everything I can about that particular product and then figure out how to make it easy for the person that reads the book to get the technique down. So it's kind of like I'm the teacher, and then I have to figure out as a student how I could learn this best. And it's really interesting. I learn it better than I would have if I was just playing around with the product.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure the readers too really appreciate that, because it's almost like you're having to work backwards so you can teach it step by step. Yeah, that's neat. So, Darlene, do you believe anyone can use art to enrich their life?
Oh, how art can enrich someone's life? I have a lot of students that have gone through health issues or divorces or have retired, and it's finally the time for themselves to play and have fun, or to give themselves a treat after having gone through a hard time. But hey, I think we should all play, and I think we get locked into having to survive or work, raise kids, and now it's the time to take time for yourself, anytime you can.
Right. Yeah, for that person that maybe has never done art before, or, they've, are really excited about maybe trying something, what kind of advice would you give somebody like that?
I think is not to think of anything as a finished product. Learn how the paint works by just slopping around with it, playing around with it. And nothing is a mistake. It's all fun. The whole purpose, how I approach art is every time I do a piece, I'm trying to learn something, even now. Mm-hmm. So it's not that anything is so precious. It's a matter of what you're learning, what you're getting out of it.
That's great. Yeah, I think so many people are so focused on the end result, and they totally miss out on what's so much fun about art is the whole process. So you have a free gift to offer our listeners. Do you want to kind of explain?
I do. If the viewers go to my website, they'll see a link to my blog. And on my blog, I have a page that's just full of vintage images from my collection. And they are welcome to download any of them and use them in their art.
Oh, great. Oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to download some too so I can do,
good.
do some as well. And I'll provide that so everybody will have access to it. And it's been so much fun talking to you. Do you have any last thoughts?
Dream in color. Have fun. Play.
That's great. Thank you, Darlene, so much for being here. And I just hope that people will, see from a professional artist that, you can always take art and have it enrich your life. So thank you for being here and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.